Hey everybody, welcome to Garden Time with Belle. Well, is your garden looking a little tired and overgrown right now like mine is? Don't give up on it just yet. Today we're giving some of my plants an end of the summer haircut, and I'm going to show you how a little strategic trimming right now can really help keep those flowers and the foliage going for several more weeks before your first frost. So what we're going to do is we're going to just move through the property and discover what needs this end of the season haircut. We are in mid-August here in my mid-Missouri Zone 6 garden, and so for me that means I have about really 6 weeks of growing season left. That would take me till the very first part of October, and our average first frost is somewhere around mid-October or so. So maybe I can push these plants up to 8 weeks, but if I can get another decent 6 weeks out of some of my plants, that's going to make me and my plants very happy. So before I show you what we're going to need in terms of tools for our haircut project, I'm going to invite everybody to please like and subscribe to my channel. Doing that helps me grow my channel. It helps me connect with more wonderful gardeners just like you. So let me show you what tools I have assembled here in my sled. And those of you that follow my videos know that I garden on 10 acres. And so I get around my property to all the various garden beds with my scooter. And behind my scooter, I pull this sled that I can just pack full of stuff. It just makes my job so much easier. I mean, gosh, so much mulch and soil and all that. I can just zip around and it really saves my back and everything else. Okay, so what are we gonna need? We're gonna need pruners, of course. I love Felco pruners. They are sort of the one of the best companies, I think, that makes really solid pruners. I use a 6 and a 310. I have small hands. So anyways, check out Felco if you don't know about the company. It's pretty common knowledge that they make really reliable pruners. All right, so I've got my snips. I have this battery operated DeWalt hedge trimmer, and I don't know that I'll use this today. I might, because I think I'm going to be whacking down my peony bushes, so this might come in handy. And then here was a little gift my husband gifted me. I don't know what it's called, but it's a battery operated pruner. Oh my gosh, you guys. So for big branches, forget those loppers that I used for years and years. Bam, this works awesome. I might need it, I might not, but I've got it. And last but not least, I have my pop-up bag. This is a Fisker's pop-up bag with a nice hard shell bottom. So because we're going to be generating a lot of garden refuse that I'll either be putting in my compost system, or if it's disease like my peony plants, which you'll discover in a little bit, any foliage that has disease or infestation or anything like that, you don't want to compost. Obviously you want to chuck that, and we've got a place where I am able to chuck those kinds of things and not compost them. So that's it. That's all we're going to need. I think let's just take a walkabout. We're going to head into the raised bed garden and do a little light trimming, because I do think I've got some herbs in there that I really want to kind of cut back so that they'll continue to flush out. So let's head in the raised bed garden. We talked about what we're going to be doing in the garden today, but for those of you that are newer gardeners, you might be wondering, why in the world am I bothering doing this? And so I just want to give you just a little bit of the why behind the haircuts that I like to give my plants in mid-August. When you cut and heavily prune your plants, almost any plant, it signals to the plant to regenerate itself. And so that's why I'm doing it, because as I mentioned, I'm hoping to get about 6 weeks more beauty out of a lot of my plants. So I am starting here in the raised veggie, herb, and cut flower garden, and I think I'm going to take after my herbs, as well as, if you can see behind me, I grow tons of marigolds, and they have gotten enormous. I grew them all from seed, the French style, and the seed, in case you're wondering what type of marigolds these were, they were the red cherry from Epic Gardening Seed. So anyhow, okay, so that's what I'm going to do. Basically, you want to make a deep cut above a leaf node or a pair of leaves, and then that's going to rejuvenate the plant, and it's going to start becoming stronger and bushier as the season goes on. I could definitely save this, bring it in, because I like to use these in floral arrangements. But I'm all about haircuts. I'm not about coming out here tomorrow. I'll come out and harvest a bunch of my cut flowers and foliage and things like herbs for some arrangements I'm going to make tomorrow. But today, I'm just giving everything a haircut. So let's get started. want to slow down here for just a minute and show you this beautiful basil plant. So if you look at the top of this plant, you can see flowers. When almost all plants set flowers, then they set seeds. And when they start to set seeds, they're trying to carry on their life cycle. They're trying to set seeds, drop seeds, and hopefully have more plants come back over and over again. So a lot of the power and attention and energy in the plant goes into these blooms and seeds. And if I want more of the energy of the plant to go into growing the plant, then cutting them off is very helpful. And I have learned over the years that just simply snipping off the top of the flower isn't really very productive in terms of getting that plant to regenerate itself. So you want to go down pretty far and make your snips. So I thought I might just mention that to those of you that might be new to growing herbs or new to doing haircuts of your plants in late summer. So rather than make you all watch everything I am pruning here in my raised bed garden, I'm just going to get after it. I'm just going to get after shearing back a lot of my herbs. And again, those marigolds that are sort of out of control, I'm going to really trim them back because they are massive. So I'll just let the video run while I do that. And then we're going to head to a completely different part of the garden. So as you can see, my marigolds are just bursting and have grown so large that I can barely make it through this walkway. They're just doing great this year, but I've already kind of sheared back this section, so I'm gonna end this section here. So I'll be finishing off this and then any other marigolds, and I've got a lot of them planted throughout the garden. Yeah, so that's a little explanation of what I'm doing. And so when I finally finish this haircut, I'll grab the camera and show you sort of an after. I'm not pruning for beauty here or aesthetics. I'm pruning here for functionality and to give these a haircut so that they will continue to pump out blooms for the next, 6 weeks or so. I wondered where this was. Don't you love it when you find garden tools? Gosh. So this is where we started with my purple basil. And that's what it's looking like now. And earlier, gosh, when I started, it was about, can I get my hand in here? It was about yay tall. So I got that, and then, oh yeah, now I can walk through here. These marigolds were out to about right here and making this pathway pretty tight. Some more basil got cut back right here. It was enormous. It was actually above this little archway, the top stem, so that got a trim as well. And then this is my pepper bed, and I laughed when I was showing my friends the garden the other day. I said, actually, this was supposed to be my pepper bed and it turned into my marigold bed. So I actually ended up having 6 marigold plants here, 1 on each end, which I've already yanked out a couple weeks ago, and 4 more. And oh my gosh, they just smothered my peppers. But you know, I've got some jalapenos in here, and I've got some pretty Cali Wonder reds, but they need some space and they need more sunlight. So yeah, I really chopped these back quite a bit. And then I've got some Genovese style basil. This is my favorite type of basil to use in cooking. It's just the Italian kind of original basil, and it needed some more space as well. And then more marigold trimming. So again, you see here, this was so narrow. I had marigolds coming out to about here, and I was having to make my way through all of these beds. So yeah, I'm feeling pretty good about this haircut. And now let's get that stuff taken to the compost. And then after that, we're gonna head over in that direction. I've got some hanging baskets that are massively overgrown. They definitely need a late summer haircut. It was so pleasant working in the shade in the raised bed garden because it still is quite early morning. And so you know what? Work smarter, not harder, I say. And so let me zoom in. I'll show you. I pulled down the hanging baskets. You see them there? I'm going to go grab those and I'm going to haul them over here. And we're going to work in the shade. I mean, why not, right? All right, I grabbed my water, so I'm ready to give this big basket quite a trim. And I don't know if you can tell scale here, but this is a 16-inch weekender basket, and wowzer. I mean, just look at the growth. If I took a tape measure from here all the way over to there, it would be easily 4 feet of gorgeous blooms. So what happens often is, you probably know if you grow something like this, because they get so massive, if you were to lift it up, do you see that underneath? Yeah, that can get a little gnarly because either that is old foliage that's died off, or it's not getting sunlight, right? Because it's hidden, it's so thick and dense. So let me grab my pruners and let's see what I can do in Belle's salon to spruce this up a little bit and encourage this plant to continue to bloom for the next 6 weeks. So, whoops, move that out of the way. So here's this one that hasn't been trimmed, and here's this one. So yeah, I'm just gonna do the same thing to the other one, give it a nice big trim, and then I'll go get them hung back up. And then we'll go on to the next haircut job. So here is the after. They got a serious buzz cut, didn't they? Look at that. Yes, I know you're wondering, Belle, you could have come in here before and done this early in the season and you would be 100% correct. But you know what? It's all right. They were humongous, and now we're going to give them a second chance to flush out and give us some more beauty for the rest of the summer. So my next salon clients are going to be some of this Calibrachoa over here. This is hands down my favorite Calibrachoa I have ever grown, and I haven't grown a lot of it, but this is the Double Magic Grapefruit Super Bells from Proven Winners. It is a stunner, and so I really don't think I'm going to cut it back significantly, but I am a little concerned. I'm not sure, maybe because of sun. I haven't turned my pot in a bit. This side isn't flowering much, and those two plants are humongous. So let me see if I can spin this pot around. Oh, and give these right here some more sun. I haven't turned it, gosh, in several weeks, probably at least a month, and that's bad on me. So I'm gonna do that, and let's see if that makes a difference. You know, I'm really happy with how this looks. So I really don't think I'm gonna do any trimming, but I am gonna trim these Calibrachoa up here in my green stock vertical planter. And again, you know, there's a lot of secrets, right, to flowers and gardening. So it looks luscious and wonderful, and it is. But again, if I lift this one plant up, look from underneath. So this isn't a problem, but it's, you know, it's hidden. All that foliage is hidden from the sun, and it just keeps pumping out and burying its dead, as they say. But they are getting a little tiny bit long in the tooth, so I'm going to do a slight trim. And part of the reason why I need to get in here and prune, especially this one on the top tier, is it has grown so vigorously that the second tier isn't getting enough sunlight. It's kind of blocking it out. And so some of my flowers here on the second tier are looking really puny because they're not getting what they need. And Calibrachoa loves sun. So this one's not looking too bad, but if I spin it around here in a minute, I'll show you how the other pink ones, yeah, they're starting to fade because they're being covered up by this beautiful purple splash above it. So yeah, you can see, I mean, look at this one here. That's supposed to be the hot pink. If I bring it in close, do you see how it was just getting smothered by this purple splash Calibrachoa? And so hopefully opening it up, giving it some more air, but most importantly, giving it more sun will help. And of course, I'll be coming in later and tidying up everywhere that you see all the remnants of what I've cut off. Get the leaf blower out and take care of that. And again, I decided to leave the Double Magic Grapefruit Calibrachoa alone. But you know, gosh, I just love how this has turned out. I have to show you because there's a few buds coming and just a few spent blooms. But look at that beautiful reminiscent coral, little baby shrub rose. It's its first year in this pot. So hopefully I will be able to overwinter it, and I won't be able to overwinter the Calibrachoa, but I'll be able to save this and put this back out here next year. And I don't know if I'm going to ring it with these gorgeous double grapefruits or choose something else, but you just can't beat that combination, right? So I moved over to this area of the garden where I have 4 clients, 1, 2, 3, 4 that need significant haircuts. In fact, these 4 peony shrubs are going to be cut probably to about 6 inches above the ground. If you follow my channel, you know that I have a love-hate relationship with peonies. Peonies, where I live, bloom for about 3 weeks. Early summer, late spring, early summer, and they're glorious. And I cut all the buds and all the blooms and bring them inside for cut flowers. The fragrance is the best. However, for me in my hot, humid garden, what's left after they are done flowering are shrubs that look horrible. Now, they look pretty good for about a month, and then this fungal stuff I have in the soil takes over. I have tried everything I can to eradicate it, and I just cannot stand the way that they look. And truth be told, probably early next spring, I'm actually going to finally just bite the bullet and take them out. So anyhow, if I've got some friends out there that want these peonies or starts of them, great, but I'm over it. I'm over it, and that's okay. You shouldn't keep anything in your garden that really doesn't speak to you. And I've been talking about getting rid of these peonies for 3 years now. okay, what's the deal? But for now, I just want to get this foliage out of here because it just looks very unattractive. And I'm going to grab the camera and bring it in really close so you can see what I'm talking about. All right, let's get a little close up of these bushes. Yep, look at these shrubs. Do you see that? Those of you that grow peonies and love peonies and have great luck and can prevent them from getting these fungal issues, I'm sure it's in my soil. You know, why don't you share in the comments your ways of keeping them looking attractive? But this is not attractive at all. I don't want something that looks like that in my garden anymore. You can probably see, let's see, this is a better one here. Let me show you. So this is a peony cage. So the very first thing I'll do, I'll pull the peony cages out. They are amazing though. If you do grow anything that flops, that has really big blooms, and you want to keep them upright, peony cages are the way to go. So I'll remove those, and then I'm probably going to get maybe I'm going to use my battery operated DeWalt hedge trimmers, and I'm just going to cut them way down to the ground and get rid of all that foliage. And then, as I said, come fall or probably early spring, we're going to dig these babies out. All right, I'm going in with the big guns. This DeWalt hedge trimmer. Got to take off the sleeve, protective sleeve. This is great for gardeners like me that aren't the strongest in the world, but it really is pretty darn lightweight. The heaviest part of this is the battery pack. So let's see here. Let's go. Let's do it. Okay, this is the first one. All that's left for me to do is to rake up all of the peony branches and stems, and then I will be actually taking this to our burn pile because, as you saw, it's diseased and has yucky stuff in it, and so you would never want to compost anything that had an infestation or any kind of fungal issues like these do. So yeah, that's it. We're getting towards the end of haircut day here in Belle's garden. Yeah, right? It looks completely different without all those 4 peony shrubs there with their yucky foliage. But what you might be noticing is this chartreuse sweet potato vine. Those of you that follow my videos know that I had a really great happy accident. So last year, let me slowly pan in. Across the way, I had planted sweet potato vine on the opposite side of that retaining wall over by my hydrangeas. And it ended up migrating towards this side and over the wall and created a lovely cover for my ugly concrete retaining wall. And so I thought, okay, let's take that happy accident and try to cover this wall. So I planted 3 Marguerite sweet potato vines because they're extremely vigorous, so that they would go up and over onto this side of the retaining wall. And they did pretty well until the deer discovered them. You guys, every year is different in gardening. I have not had big deer pressure ever up against the house, but man, oh man, this year they're not messing around, and either are we. You might see this. We've got a couple of these now. These are the Orbits deer. Oh, I don't know what they're really called, but anyways, they're motion detected. When a deer comes by, water sprays, oh my gosh, and we're hoping they're going to do the trick. I'm also going to be talking about this in another video, so stay tuned. I'll talk about some of the critter issues we've had this year for the very first time and how we are addressing those. So, all right, enough talk. Let's head to the front of the house, sit down on the front porch. Let me leave you with a couple things to think about in terms of giving your plants a good haircut here towards the end of summer. Well, this has been a really satisfying morning in the garden as I got to give a lot of haircuts to a lot of different types of plants. So I appreciate you hanging out with me today. So you got to see what types of things I like to give a hard haircut to here in mid-August in my Zone 6 Missouri garden. It's going to vary depending upon where you live, right, and where you garden. You really just need to think about your average, let's see, first frost, so your fall frost, and that's what I factor into. So mid-August for me is the perfect time. So the only things left for me to do in this morning's project is, of course, I'm going to go tidy up. I'll get the leaf blower out and take care of that. In terms of my hanging baskets or my potted flowers that you saw me give a really hard trim to, I will be giving them a gourmet drink of really good water-soluble fertilizer today. Really, they're going to need some TLC for another week to 2 weeks to get them settled into their new short haircuts and get them to be producing some more. Well, I think that's going to do it for today. Thank you guys again for hanging out with me today, for coming back for another video and seeing what I'm doing in my garden. I hope you're having a great day in your garden, and I do have one last task, and I'm not going to make you sit through it, but oh, goodness sakes, this Coleus strawberry drop, it's enormous. I've cut it back, probably 2 or 3 times already this year. I tried to grow some begonias behind it, but it just totally took over my pot. So I am going to probably give this a little tiny trim. But until next time, I'm going to wish everybody out there happy gardening.